Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Captain Atom number 85. This is the first appearance of Punch and Jewelee. So they're like kind of really obscure villains. They were in the Suicide Squad held to pay a movie. That's like probably their most prolific appearance. They die at the beginning. So, but yeah, anyway, so one by one, important scientists are spirited away by two new threats to the nation's security. Punch, wily and warped by dreams of power, Jewelee, a lovely schemer with strange powers, are behind this wild plot, and Captain Atom finds it takes more than superpowers and clever gadgets when he and Nightshade are caught in the strings of Punch and Jewelee. Script Dave Kaler, Pencil Stitko, Inks Roque Mastro Serio, Lettering Herbfield. So a bright, sunny day on a golf course. She's knocked it into the rough again. What's she doing on a golf course? I guess I'm holding you men up. If you help me find my ball, I'll let you play through. That sounds great. As Professor Bolt looks for the ball, she'll be around here someplace. There it is. But what's this? It looks like a ruby, but... Whoa, what's going on? Whatever it is, I got to get myself free. Suddenly, I fool, the strings of the punch pack, an electrical wallop, ha! Didn't think my strings would sting. Punch, don't stun him so much, or I'll never get him under my power. You mustn't resist my beautiful jewel. There's such a quiet sleep within it. Sleep, Professor Bolt, sleep. While Punch takes this one away in the car, I'll go and charm his friend, the other scientist, with another of my pretty baubles. Later that afternoon, news of the missing scientists reaches some familiar faces in Washington. With all these, who's splashing? Forget the headlines and get wet, flyboy. Better oblige her, Captain. Eve usually gets her way, and I can't do anything with this arm. And once this arm is healed, the ghosts will appear again. So Captain Atom number 82, that the ghost was in. Got you by your jet set heels, Eve. If it wasn't for Operation Rebirth, I wouldn't be able to swim again. I heard all about that while I was on my last job. I'm glad for your sake. You know everything about me, little Miss Nightshade. When am I going to learn more about you? Why don't you... I'm sorry. I just can't tell you anything right now. Honey, you're more mysterious than the ghost. Suddenly, a weird gem falls out of the sky and envelops Alex Royce. Captain Adam and Eve, along with a few other guests, try to help the trapped man. Then the gigantic jewel seems to explode in a dazzling flash, and everyone is left unconscious. Later, recovering their senses, the pair contact the authorities and then leave for the Pentagon, where they meet again, this time in Action Togs. Nice report we have to make. We were right there and we were helpless. Alec just disappeared. Let's see what the chief wants us to do before we start feeling sorry for ourselves. After giving their chief a full report, that's the same story all the others gave us. Well, Roy's house is guarded by radar, and nothing as large as that gem was picked up. You people were hypnotized. What? I'd like to keep you together on this case, but higher-ups have made that impossible. Captain Atom is to fly to upstate New York and undergo a series of tests on his powers and the radiation material under his skin. Nightshade, you take your new air cushion vehicle and fly up to Long Island to that golf course where Bolt disappeared. Perhaps you'll dig up something new there. But what about Alex Royce? We'll have to forget about him until we learn more about those men in New York. I wonder what Alec's going through right now. I'll hurry with those tests so we can get after whoever has Alec. Maybe we'll get two birds with one stone. Life's little ironies, two people anxious to save a friend. But if that friend, who really is really the ghost, knew who they were, he wouldn't hesitate to destroy them. And what about Alec Royce, the ghost, and the pair that kidnapped him? My giant gem illusion worked like a charm. Those people were actually trying to break into something that didn't exist. Look at Royce. He's still in a spell. But it was my stunning strings that pulled them all to sleep so we could get away with Royce. Together we were able to build this fantastic laboratory right in the middle of Coney Island, and no one even knows it exists. But if it weren't for the things we found in that box, we would still be cheap Connie crooks. What a lucky break for us that you spotted that box coming in on the tide while we were walking on the beach, Punch. Strange-looking chest. Wonder if there's anything in it. We hauled the chest ashore and opened it. I can still see the silly expression on your face when you put on the funny-looking boots that were in the chest and promptly took off like a cloud of air. And that mind recorder device that was filled with information on how to use the hypnogems and the sting strings that were also in the chest gave me special power over people. With the gems, I charmed a realtor into giving me this abandoned carnival section, and using hypnotized workers, we built this hidden laboratory in the amusement area. And since we always have been puppeteers, we decided to adapt the characters of Punch and Judy to ourselves. I adapted a diamond motif to match the gems I had learned to use. And so, by a stroke of fate, a box of rare weapons from a strange civilization led to the birth of Punch and Julie. I wonder where that chest did come from. We can record Roy's brain later. I think that we can better get upstate and get Lewis call before the government decides to give him special guards. Good, another puppet for my strings. Using the flying shoes and the cover of one of Julie's gems, which enveloped them in darkness, the pair set out to capture another scientist, Lewis Call. That day, Captain Atom has been playing guinea pig for Professor Call, and as more and more of his power is used, Captain Atom began to feel weaker and weaker. And there was just one last test to run as the villains approached Call's castle laboratory. You are very weak. Now I want to measure the amount of radiation you project. Drink this. That tranquilizing drug will let me record only the radiation, and not your nerve responses. You've used too much of your power, Captain, but already your system is building up a new supply. But to use it now will be a great strain on you. What was that? Good evening, gentlemen. Ah, Captain Atom. This is an unexpected surprise. Crash. I'll stop you if I can shake the effects of this drug. Too weak. Come, let me string you along also, Captain Atom. Shocking meeting you here. Oh. Cut the gay repartee. Call is under the dream spell, and we best get back. Wait, Julie. This is one puppet I'd have to have. If we keep him under that drug, we should be able to control them, and learn the secret of his powers also. If I can only open my radio sender and send out a message there. Mustn't fiddle with my strings, Captain Weak Adams. There, that should keep you asleep until we get home. Isn't it sweet of Call to have us take home in his private chopper? It will save some strain on my flying shoes. And away they go, never suspecting that a radio beam is transmitting a homing signal from Captain Atom's belt set. Meanwhile, there's some grass that looks like it was trampled, and yet it grows straight from here on as if the man were picked up in the air. There's my radio signal. What's up, Charlie? No report from Captain Atom, but he's been sending out a radio beam for over an hour now, and it's finally settled at Coney Island. In the strange vehicle designed for her by the CIA, Nightshade heads for Coney Island. Something must have happened to Call and Captain Atom. I better get there fast. At that moment, Punch and Julie arrive back at their amusement park hideout. I'll lead Call in. Be careful with Captain Atom. Put him in with Royce. After you get rid of the copter, we'll start the final phase of our plan. Still not very strong, but I've got to stop them somehow. He was playing possum, but this gem ought to bind him Or blind him. Or is it bind or blind? Blind him until you use those sting strings full force on him, Punch. Aye! Electrifying, isn't it? You're making a lovely pair. The stunned one and the entranced one. Captain Adam, got to keep pretending I'm still under a spell. Julie's spell wore off hours ago, but that's all to the good. I don't know what their plans are, but I pretended to gain an advantage. But you, meddler, if you hadn't interfered at Fort Knox, I'd still be able to take my teleportations device off with my gloves. Captain Adam number 82, again. But that accident also increased my range of teleportation. My powers are even greater than before. He's waking. Better pretend again. Wouldn't do to have him learn I'm not still in their power. Got to. Where am I? Meanwhile, Nightshade has reached Coney Island and spots Punch as he returns from having dropped the copter into the sea. Looks deserted. Wait, what's that? Better turn on the voltage to, discourage intruders. Uh-oh, an electric fence. But I've got to get in. Captain Adam may be in there. I'm taking a dangerous chance. But I'll have to use that dreadful power again if I'm to save Captain Adam. The button. Nightshade presses a button on her belt and a mysterious transformation takes place. The darling of darkness disappears, and in the spot where she stood is only a shadow. So yeah, her Nightshade's powers are she can turn into shadows. That's her power. So that's to be explained in a later issue. Meanwhile, within the confines of their laboratory, the scheme of Punch and Jewelee is about to bear fruit. If it succeeds, it will leave stunned and bound Captain Adam in a device that will render him mindless. As an evil scientist would say, "Welcome to my laboratory, Captain Adam. Cut the clowning, Punch. Take this spare recording mold and let's get started. You're the only one who isn't in a spell from my gems, Captain Adam. I wanted to be aware of your mind slowly draining out of you. All the great scientific mind of the worlds are on our recordings. We'll sell the information to any interested government. Having your mind will be the crowning touch." And as Jewelee boasts of the plan, the shadow of Nightshade creeps behind her. "And none of you will be able to tell anyone about us. That's what you think, you refugee from the Diamond Mart. Who, what? Where did you come from?" Nightshade. Can't stop out to figure out where she came from. Gotta get out of here and help her. Time to even up the sides here. And with some of my powers back, we've got the advantage. Darkness is your world. Let's see what happens when I throw a little light at you. Acting up again, Captain Adam. I'll just have to string you up tighter this time. We'll see who strings along who this time, Punch. While they're busy battling it out, I'll teleport some of those smaller devices to my lab. Don't try to run away, Punch. I want to see the pleasure of flattening that false nose of yours. If I get any better at this, I'll join the Radio City Rockettes. You're heading for a fall, Gem Girl, and you deserve it. Hey, Puppet Master, you forgot your strings. I wish I could forget you. It's my turn now, Punch. Here's a taste of your own stickin' strings. No, yo! Sorry, I can't stay. I'll be able to lose him in here. When this guy runs, he runs. You can't lose me, Punch. We'll see about that. That's one punch that Punch really deserves. With the unconscious form of Punch, Captain Adam returns to the lair of Punch and Jewelee and finds that Nightshade has her end under control too. This clown tried to get away in the Tunnel of Love. As soon as these men are free, I'll radio to HQs and ask for a doctor. Royce looks a bit shook up. And while the heroic pair go about helping the hypnotized men, Jewelee regains consciousness and makes a break for freedom. If I can only get that illusion gem out, it'll be in the clear. Nightshade, Julie's awake. If I could stop her, but she deserves to go free. Jail wouldn't look good on her. Be back to make your life miserable, heroes. Just wait and see. And creating an illusion of a massive explosion, Jewelee escapes under the cover of it. Another case ended, our two weary heroes head back to their normal lives to rest up before they are called into action again. But several persons are thinking about them, and not very kindly. They made a fool out of Punch, but this time I'll get them next. I'll get them next time. With these gems, I ought to be able to dream up a scheme to best those two. The ghost is about ready to appear again. Beware, Captain Atom and Nightshade. That Captain Atom, I'll fix that glory hog if it's the last thing I do, or my name isn't Abby Ladd. Next issue. The ghost steps back into the spotlight, using his wild teleportation powers and the inventions stolen from Punch and Jewelee. The ghost is more powerful than ever. Don't miss the fury of the faceless foe in Captain Atom issue number 86. So, the end. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that comic. If you guys could like, comment, or subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.